Hi everyone, in this video I'm going to show a beginning guitar player the basic G chord. I'm going to show you different ways to play the G chord, and in future videos I'm going to show you how to play other chords and different positions to play those chords as well. Let's do this. So I'm going to show you open G chord. So there's different ways to play this one as well. This is a standard way to play the G chord. You have your middle finger on the low E string, playing that G note. Your index finger on the A string, playing a B note. And then the D, G, ring out. And then you have your ring finger on the B string playing a D note, and then your pinky on the high E string playing that G note. So that's one way to play it. Another way to play the same chord is just like this. So you're eliminating your index finger and you're playing with your ring finger on that G note. You're playing your middle finger on that B note. You're letting the D, G, B ring, and then you're playing your pinky on that high G note. And then another way to play it is just without using the middle finger and just using your ring finger to play the G, and then you're muting this string right here, so you're not playing a B note, you're just muting it, and you're playing all the other with your pinky on the G note. Those are other ways to play it. Now the reason to play it those three separate ways is, for an example, the first way that I showed you, you can play this. You see, you can move your index finger to play other notes. Okay. Now the other way to play the chord that I showed you, the second one, is you can add, as like a sus, you add that C note. And then the last way, which is normally the way that I play it, is like this. And then doing that, you can add a So learn to play them all three ways. Because there's songs that incorporate these last two fingers, and from the G chord you go into a C pattern, and then a D pattern, which is a D suspended back to that G. So they go. So it's very important to learn different ways to play one chord. Now, the bar chord, pretty standard, right? So this is one of the most standard ways to play a lot of the basic chords. So with a bar chord, you're barring this third fret, the whole fret, with your index finger, and you're using your thumb and your finger as a clamp. You're clamping it down. You want to make sure that all notes are able to be heard without any deadening of the strings. So to continue with this G bar chord, you want to put your ring finger on the D note. So it's on the A string, playing that D note. Your pinky is going to play a G note on the D string. And then your middle finger is going to be playing a B note on the G string. So it's going to sound like this. That's a full bar chord. Now, to play this same chord, but a half bar chord, is you're playing it up here. So essentially, with this position right here, you're playing the same notes as this bar chord, except the lower strings are not being played. So you're playing it like this. But what you're doing is you're fingering it like this. And I'll show you why it's good to learn both. So bar chord standard. Really do too much with it here, but you can kind of play with your pinky and kind of do other chords. That's a G7, and that's a G suspended. But playing with this also leaves your pinky free as well. Play that G, add 9, or even a G dominant 7. Okay. So there alone, I just showed you 5 different ways to play a G chord. Now we're going to go to another way. Now, so we played a G bar chord with the low string as the root. Now we're going to play a G bar chord. So now what we're doing, here's a G bar chord. So to play the G bar chord up here, you're only playing the 4 strings. And you're not playing the low string, and you're muting the top string. So you're only using your index finger and your ring finger for those. And doing this allows you to have your pinky so you can play suspended. Okay. Now the other way to play a G chord is using the D form of playing. So what you're doing is you're going up. So if you know that this is a D chord, you go up half step D sharp, up half step E, half step F, up half step F sharp, up half step, that's a G. So that's a G chord right there. This is another way of playing a G chord. So it's using the D form of playing. So. And you have your pinky free. So on this, you're using your index finger on the 7th fret on the G string. You have your ring finger on the 8th fret of the B string. And then you have your middle finger on the 7th fret of the E string. So you can play it like that, and you only play these 3 strings. And then you have your pinky free to make a suspended chord. You can go higher. Or you can use this pinky to play on the 10th fret of the D string and make the G chord a little bit thicker. Or without it. G chord has 3 notes. At the basic level, it's G, B, D. Those are the 3 notes of a G chord. You can play any of these 3 notes anywhere on the guitar, and that'll make a G chord. Whether you're playing it with the G as the root note, or as a B as a root note, or even as the D as a root note. It's all still a G chord. So once you learn where all the notes are on the guitar, and then you figure out where those 3 notes are in any combination, you're playing a G chord. So if you want to play a G chord on the fingerboard of a guitar, you just need to remember that all you have to do is play a G, B, or D note all together, and that makes it a G chord. It's a triad. So another way to play a G chord is we have this form right here. So here, what you can do is you can bar these 3 strings, the 3 high strings on the 7th fret, and then you add your middle finger to that B string, and you're playing a G note. And then what you're doing is you're adding your ring finger to the D string on the 9th fret, and then you're adding your pinky to the A string on the 10th fret. That's another way to play a G chord, and it's just more, it's fuller. And if you want to add this low E string, what you do is on your index finger, you bar the whole 7th fret. So you're playing it really thick. So this way you're playing it with B as the first note, which means that it's a G chord still, but it's in first inversion. And first inversion just means that you're playing a G chord, but the low note is a B. Second inversion is the same thing. You're playing a G chord, but the D is the lowest note. So that's all it is. Root position, first inversion, and second inversion. Pretty easy. There you have it. Work on this. This is a G chord. And then once you get this down, you can use this same theory to play all the other chords on the fretboard of a guitar, doing the same thing. So if you want to play every chord that you just learned for the G a half step up, you're playing a G sharp or an A flat. And then with that same theory going up another half step, you're playing an A. And there's many ways to play a G chord on the guitar. Also, there's another way to play a G chord that doesn't even involve putting your fingers on the fretboard. So what you're doing is you're playing the D string, the G string, and the B string. So let me get up here. You're playing the D string, G, and the B. Those 3 notes are a G chord. You're just playing it in second inversion because D, which is the 3rd note of a G chord, is being played at the first, is the first note being played. So that means that's a second inversion. It is kind of confusing at first, believe me, and if it goes over your head, I completely understand. It's quite alright, it's okay. But again, that's a G chord, and you're just playing those 3 strings. Another way to play is up here. You're playing those same 3 strings, but you're on the 12th fret. And it's just an octave higher. Okay, I hope this helps. Thanks for watching.